to week 5 or week 4, one of the two, of the BiddieCast for the Biddy Bum Bum Fantasy League. If you guys remember correctly, Anton and me had a little bit of a side bet for our game last week. Loser's going to do a strikeout live on the BiddieCast this week. Without further ado, Anton, take it away.
Fuck you guys. All right, you all see me okay? Good. All right, so we are in here, which I don't really, I can't remember the last time I smoked. And then I'll do a shot, which is right below here, and then I will shotgun a beer as quickly as I possibly can. I will probably do this horribly. So
okay, just like last year.
Yeah, that's right. I did do it last year. I thought. Can you guys see me okay?
Well, yeah, you're good. Just go.
Okay.
Last year you smoked the weed the wrong way almost. So
I remember. That's why I got this the right way this time. So.
Oh, I thought that was it.
And he's like puking over a balcony onto someone, like some girl sunbathing. He's just puking
underneath.
I hate you guys.
That bird. Oh.
All right. Anyways.
Oh, it's coming.
Oh, I needed that. That was great. Anyways, are you ready for a quick recap of last week's actions? Let's do it.
Yeah. Let's get right into it. Just like that. First game of the week, Double D getting his third win in a row over Team Buffalo Angelo, 143-111. The big guy there, Lamar Jackson and Daniel Jones coming
Danny Dimes. What a huge, I mean, that's different right there. Danny Dimes. Crazy. Huge upset.
Hey.
All right, and then we have the Itty Buddy tight end by committee against yourself, the Muppets. Look at this game. Very close game. 6 points. A little over 6 points. It was actually... Yeah, pretty close going into the late games here, and you pulled away. I mean, you look at your team, Sean. I mean, you got huge points from Tyreek Hill, No Neck Cheetah Hill, 50 points again. Terry McLaurin, another 33 points. Your receivers basically own this for you because your quarterback, let's be honest, didn't do the greatest. Justin Herbert, 23 points. That's okay. It's pedestrian. And Jameis Winston, man, when are you gonna move on from Jameis Winston?
We'll see. The Knob Slobbers getting their first win of the season against Anton, and his first win of his career against Anton. Dak Prescott scoring 28.9 points. But the story on your team this week was Austin Eckler having a huge night for the LA Chargers last night as they beat the Raiders 28-14.
Moving on to Killer Tomatoes with his second win, getting 158 points against the UK Bills. Sam Darnold and Matt Ryan, just like the polar opposite of you, his quarterbacks went out there and got him that W.
Killer Tomatoes going to 2-2 on the season, and UK Bills dropping to 2-2. The last game, Bend It Like Beckham Jr. getting another win over It's My Year Bitches, dropping to 1-3. Huge game from Patrick Mahomes, and of course another quarterback out there. This name you might have heard before, Russell Wilson. Dave, a lot of things changed this week.
Oh, they certainly did. I think you'll see that reflecting in. I know my power rankings definitely changed. Let's take a look at them.
Well, I don't think 10 changed, did it? Oh, it actually did for you. You put Anton on the bottom. Why?
Yeah, I beat him. I was in the 10th spot before. I beat him. I think that warrants me being ahead of him. Just that simple. And I have more points scored than him. He's bottom of the league in points scored. I mean, both those categories, you don't want to be in. So that's why I put myself ahead of him. You just have Killer Tomatoes, really?
Killer Tomatoes down there. And I'll tell you why, because I think when we see how our lineups or our different power rankings shake out, I've got a reason and a method behind the madness. I'll explain later.
All righty.
Number 9, you have the bitches, and I have Anton. I think you and I agree Anton's got a long way to go. But the bitches, you think they're basement dwellers?
Yeah, I mean, I had high hopes for him this season. I'm not ready to throw in the towel yet. We're only 4 weeks in. You know, we got a lot of football left to play, but 1-3, not scoring a whole lot of points comparatively speaking. He's got some work to do, but I think his team's going to turn around.
Then at number 8, you have the knob slobbers, and I have the bitches. Again, I'm going to echo your sentiments on the bitches. They 1-3 is a tough record to have, but we've seen teams turn around before with worse records. You have yourself at number 8. Is that just is that you being humble?
Listen, I have said that once you get your first W is when you can start, bragging a little bit here. Finally did that. I've always said I have a very good team. I just had some tough matchups, some teams that were scoring a lot of points, and I wasn't putting up any kind of goose eggs myself. So looking at my team, I think my team has the success to keep rising up the rankings, but got to put some W's together. I only got 1 win. Can't really put myself in front of somebody who has 2 or more wins right now if I only have 1. But that's why I'm there. And this is why I have Killer Tomatoes.
Jumping up 4 spots.
2-2. I mean, that's respectable. He's right there he might even be in the last playoff spot. I don't know. But 2 wins, he's 2-2. That's a pretty good record, especially for how, I guess, lack of a better term, how bad his team looks on paper. He put together a pretty good performance last week. I don't know how sustainable that is, but I have him slightly ahead of me.
I have double D.
Interesting that you have double D there, because you're going to see where double D lines up in 9.
At number 6, you have the Muppets, and I have the Knob Slobbers. Again, I think there's still a lot of season to be played, and a lot of these probably 4 through 6, 4 through 7 spots are a toss up for me.
Yeah, it's still close. I mean, even teams in the basement there, 8, 9, and 10, can still get a win next week, and they're right back in that close to the top 6, if not in the top 6.
UK Bills. And then I had Buffalo Angela drop it a huge 5 spots, going from number 1 to number 5. So was that 4-spot drop?
How do you warrant that? How do you warrant going from number 1 to number 5?
I think there were some things shown this week that again we'll get into when we look at the standings after we go over the power rankings here. You have the UK Bills in spot number 5. That's down from number 2 last week.
Disappointing loss.
We're seeing some people starting to drop.
Yep. Yeah, you're starting to see this big shakeup happen in the top here. So
now you have the committee, and I also agree they're a top 4 team right now.
Yeah, absolutely. They gotta get a little more consistent in some spots, but they're a top team for sure.
Yeah, more. And let's be clear here. More consistency in more spots, meaning win some games.
Because yeah. Yeah, I mean they're top 3 in points, I think, top 2. But again, it's matchups. It's a weird year this year for this league.
Second in points this week and got the loss.
Yeah.
Number 3. I actually put myself here after this week's performance. I
How much did you have yourself? How many spots you move up there? 2 or 3?
I moved up from number 6 to number 3.
3 spots,
yeah.
Okay.
3 spot move up. I think my team proved some things this week, and we also learned some things this week. So we have high hopes heading into the future. We'll see. And then you have Beckham Jr.
Yeah.
Who I happen to have not at number. Well, I guess I don't have him at number 2, but I have the UK Bills, and you have Buffalo Angela only dropping 1 spot, and at number 1 I have Beckham. I think he's shown that every single year he's got a really solid team. I don't know if it's drafting. I don't know if it's free agency. I think I really want to start watching what Chris does with his team a little bit more often.
I think he might have the sports almanac. That might be his trick there. And there it is.
One,
There it is. Double D.
moving up 5 spots.
Yeah. So we said that Angela was the hottest team in the league last week because she had strung together 3 wins in a row, scoring a lot of points. Double D just did it, surpassed her. He's scoring a shit ton of points. Just rattled off 3 wins in a row, and all 3 wins he's had are very convincing. It's not like he's hanging on by half a point here or anything. He's having some convincing wins. And I said last week, watch out for Double D. Watch out for Double D. I'll stick by that. Now, I have a question for you before we move on to the predictions for next week. Who would you say in this league, Anton, Rotten Tomatoes, Killer Tomatoes, who is the Urban Meyer of this league? Just falling apart. They're gonna be in a strip club soon, saying that they're watching their grandchildren. That whole thing.
Go on. I wouldn't say it about anyone in this league.
Okay. Well, I would say it about Anton, to be completely that performance he had for the last 2 strikeouts he's done is just he's in over his head.
Well, anyway, looking at the standings, I had Double D a little bit lower in my power rankings just because he's had a weak schedule as of so far. 490 points against. There are teams that have had 636 points against, which is really unfortunate for Ben. I think, and that's not even the most in the league. 673 points against. So Double D hasn't had a whole lot of competition against him. Now I'm not taking away from him also scoring a lot of points himself. He's in the top half, top 5 or 6. But it's still not it's not at that level where I would feel really well with that consistency.
All right, fair enough. I get that. I think he's getting the wins when it matters most, and he's hasn't had a whole lot of points against him, but 3 wins in a row. It's nothing to
well, if
dismiss.
you believe this, he's got a 94% chance at the playoffs now.
That's not nothing.
I don't know where they came up with those numbers.
Killer Tomatoes.
Killer Tomatoes is just 7%. But none of this stuff makes any sense.
I guess they're doing all the projections. They're projecting into see, like, that's what they're doing is based off all projections, right? 7%. I mean, that would how many games do you think based off of that they have Killer Tomatoes winning? 2 more maybe all season?
1 game to be at the top of his division.
Well, ESPN has no faith in Killer Tomatoes. Too many quarterbacks.
Well, looking ahead to this week, we both have the Muppets beating the Killer Tomatoes. We both have the committee beating Paul. And then a little different step here in the Double D and UK Bills game. You're riding the Double D train.
Oh yeah, I'm riding that train all day long.
You're gonna ride it all the way to Double D town.
I am going to. It's got a good team. This is a big matchup too. You got a 3-1 versus a 2-2. I mean, Derek could get 4-1, sitting at week 5, getting to 4-1. That's a pretty record. Being under 2-3, again, you're not out of things, but no one wants to get to the a little over 1/3 of the way through the season and have a losing record. So
I'll
big
take
week
my
matchup
with UK Bills on that one. Beckham and your team, the Slobbers, again. I like learning from Chris. He seems to put together a good team every single year. I'm not going to bet against him.
Fair enough. I never will bet against myself. So even though I truly think I have a better team, I got some better matchups. I'm sitting in this position where, like, how can I fit Cordell Patterson into my lineup? I have some depth, running back, wide receiver. It's a good thing to have. I just don't want to make the wrong choice. Cordell Patterson, I've been sitting on my bench for 3 weeks now, and he's been tearing it up. So might be time for some Cordell Patterson.
And the last game, Biggie Smalls versus Buffalo Angela. Again, you and I have a disagreement here. I think it's going to be a big week for Buffalo Angela to prove their team's worth after scoring the league low this week. I don't think Anton's any pushover.
She's going to smoke Anton. She's going to smoke Anton, because here's the thing, coming from a Bills fan here, Bills haven't performed well against Kansas City in what, 5 years? I don't see anything that's going to change it. I'm not saying that the Bills are going to lose necessarily, but maybe Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs have an off day. Maybe the defense is what wins in that game. I don't know. That's a huge matchup, and look back in the history, it's just not a good performance by the Buffalo Bills against Kansas City there in that late Sunday night game. But you look at Buffalo Angela. I mean, I think she's what's the projection here? 142 to 137.
Yep.
Yeah. Here's my prediction, and I'm not going to put anything on this because I don't have enough faith in myself to predict this. But I think Buffalo Angela will score the most points again this week. Anton will score the least amount of points.
Bold predictions.
We'll see.
Bold predictions. Who's before we leave tonight? Who's the player to watch this week?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Mr. Dawson Knox. He put up a really good performance in fantasy wise, and in real life as well last week. So I think Dawson Knox, he wants to get up there and to the talk about being one of the top tight ends in that second tier. Right now, he's not even close to that, but I think a big performance against a very suspect Kansas City team could do him well. So I'm going Dawson Knox.
Dawson Knox. He just had two big weeks in a row.
Yeah, but he's still. I mean, if you look him up, what percentage of the leagues in ESPN own him?
No, yeah, I don't know. That's an interesting. That was just an interesting pick. I'm just throwing that out there. My one to watch is Daniel Jones.
Danny Dimes.
Yeah, he's been so confusing to me because if you watch his games, he's horrible. He's not a good quarterback. It's painful to watch, but he's still putting up 30 points.
Yeah, 30 north of 25 in 3 out of 4. That's 19 not bad.
And this week he is projected to get 23.7 points. Will Danny Dimes outdo that projection or not? I think he does.
Who's he playing?
I knew at one point.
Oh, it's Dallas. That Dallas secondary is going to tear him up. He probably won't get 20 points. He's probably going to throw 3 interceptions. That Dallas defense is no walk in the park. They're a really good defense.
Then we'll see what happens here because I thought the same thing about the Saints defense. I didn't think they were going to be a walk in the park either, and he put up 30 points against them. So if he can't put up more than 23.7 this weekend against Dallas, then I will still feel comfortable in putting the stamp on Danny Dimes as being fraudulent.
All right. Well, we'll see what happens, I guess.
Well, folks, that's all the time we have this week on the BiddieCast. Catch it next week when we drop it in the group chat.
Yes. Good luck, everyone. Go Red Sox. Fuck yourselves.